Let me ask you something a little daring. Have you ever sat in a quiet house, the clock ticking like it's keeping secrets, and wondered, is this really it? Have you ever watched the neighbors laughing over a cookout while your yard stayed still and felt that small, private pinch that whispers, I wish that were me? If you felt that ache, you're not imagining it. You're not dramatic. You're not too emotional. A major 2023 review in JAMA Internal Medicine found that chronic loneliness raises your risk of early death as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It affects blood pressure, sleep, even memory. But here's the part almost no one talks about. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. Learning the difference might be one of the most powerful health decisions you ever make in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. Today, I want to walk you through 6 evidence-backed strategies that help turn painful loneliness into something steadier and more meaningful. Purposeful solitude. Real psychology, real tools, real stories. And stay with me through strategy number 6. It's the one that rewired everything for a man named Arthur, someone who once said, I feel invisible, and 6 months later told me, I never imagined I could feel this good again. As we get older, the world gets quieter, but our inner world gets louder. Retirement arrives, kids move away, a partner may pass, and the life that once needed you in every corner suddenly needs you nowhere. That silence can feel heavy, like a weight on the chest, like a fog slipping under the door. Without structure, loneliness doesn't slam in like a storm. It drifts in slowly, quietly, and suffocatingly. But loneliness isn't your enemy. It's a signal, a nudge, a whisper that your life is asking for new meaning. You don't fix loneliness by forcing yourself to get out more. You fix it by rebuilding your inner world, one gentle, proven shift at a time. Let's start. For decades, your life ran in reaction mode. Breakfast for kids, work demands, noise, traffic, schedules, errands. You barely had space to breathe, let alone think. So when stillness finally arrives, it feels wrong. It feels like you should be doing something. But stillness isn't a failure. Stillness is medicine. Neuroscientists talk about the default mode network, the part of your brain that activates only when you're not doing anything. This is where your mind sorts through old thoughts, where emotional healing begins, where identity reshapes itself. I once met a retired teacher named Margaret. She felt guilty, actually guilty, sitting down to read at 9 a.m. Now she calls it her daily sanctuary. A cup of tea, a book, silence. She told me, for the first time in 50 years, I'm not rushing. Tomorrow, sit quietly for 1 minute. No TV, no phone. Then ask, what do I truly want to do right now? Whatever rises up, that's your first step back to yourself. When old routines fade, you don't just lose structure, you lose a sense of who you are. Psychologists call rituals anchors. They signal you're safe, you're grounded, your day has shape. A 2022 study in positive psychology showed that older adults with small daily rituals have higher life satisfaction and lower depression. There's a retired engineer I know named David, sharp as ever, but drifting. Now, every morning, he grinds his coffee beans, does his crossword in ink, and walks exactly 1 mile. He once said, these small things give me a reason to get up. Choose one ritual. 5 deep breaths before you stand, a nightly stretch, a weekly dinner you cook just for yourself. Small things rebuild life. Here's a myth. Learning is for the young. Not even close. Your brain can adapt and rewire itself throughout your entire life. Harvard's Aging Brain Study in 2021 found that mentally stimulating activities drastically lower the risk of cognitive decline. All you need is curiosity. There's a woman named Susan, age 72, who always wanted to learn about ancient Egypt. She picked up one book, then watched a video lecture. Now her family calls her Miss Egypt, and she says her mind feels sharper than it did at 62. Pick one topic you've always wondered about. 10 minutes a day. That's all it takes to spark your brain back to life. When loneliness settles in, the recliner becomes a trap. Comfortable, but draining. But 20 to 30 minutes of gentle walking acts like a natural antidepressant. A 2022 study in The Lancet Psychiatry found that it can lift mood even more effectively than some medications. And nature? Nature is quiet therapy. Research on ecotherapy shows that simply looking at trees lowers blood pressure and stress hormones. I knew a man named Robert who was grieving and stuck indoors. His first step was simple: sit outside for 15 minutes. Soon he noticed the birds, then planted tomatoes, then walked to the mailbox, then around the block. He told me those birds felt like they were waiting for me. Tomorrow, step outside. Take 5 deep breaths. Let nature do some of the healing. When you're alone often, your thoughts become your roommates, and some can be pretty loud and unkind. The brain has a built-in negativity bias, a survival instinct from long ago, that now just makes life feel heavier. Gratitude interrupts that pattern. Dr. Robert Emmons' research shows gratitude improves sleep, reduces depression, and even strengthens immunity. I once met a woman named Helen who carried a simple dollar store notebook. Every night, she wrote down one good thing. Her first entry was, "The people at the coffee shop were so friendly." 30 days later, her notebook was full. She looked at me and said, "My life is still full." Write one good thing tonight. Teach your mind to recognize what hasn't disappeared. This was Arthur's turning point. When I first got to know him, he said, "I feel invisible." His wife had passed. His kids lived far away. His days felt long and hollow. Then he tried something new: volunteering. Not big events, not loud groups, just a quiet room at the library, repairing children's books. He said, "I don't say much, but I know some kid will open a book because of me." That's purpose. That's connection. And that's when loneliness starts to loosen its grip. A 2020 National Institute on Aging study backs this up. Volunteering boosts happiness faster than almost any other activity for adults over 60. Ask yourself, where could I be useful? A library? A food pantry? A garden? A church? A reading program? You're not chasing friends. You're cultivating purpose, and purpose naturally attracts people. If you've ever felt alone, I hope this reminded you of something important. You're not done. You're not invisible. Your story is still unfolding, and you have more power to shape it than you think. If something in this touched you, type a simple yes in the comments. Not for me, for the person scrolling who needs to see they're not the only one. And if you'd like more videos on aging, emotional strength, and well-being, go ahead and subscribe. You deserve a life filled with peace, purpose, and connection. Let's build it together, one small step at a time. Thank you for watching Aged and Confused.